everybody, welcome back. So today I'm just gonna tell you about some palettes that I like. These are more neutral palettes, and I would say they're the neutral palettes I reach for a little bit more than others, and you can tell me what some of yours are. But for an all matte palette, I really like the Viseart Neutral Matte palette. I find that this is so easy to work with. The mattes are, you know, you tap your brush in, you get pigment, you can put it on your eyes super easily. It's going to show up and you're going to be able to blend it very easily. And I really love all matte looks. I love all matte looks. I love all shimmer looks. I love the combination. But this one is definitely a go-to for when I just want something simple. Oftentimes I'm wearing this for work, or if I want like the neutral eye, bright red lip thing going on. I really enjoy using this palette, and it's one that I think is great for work. You know, everything is work friendly depending on your type of work. But for me, oftentimes I don't want to be doing too much on my eyes. And this is one that I don't have to think about as much. I can just grab like 2 of these mattes and that's a look right there. Now, along with the matte, I like these 2 all shimmer palettes from Viseart. This is the Paris Nudes. And this is Sultry Muse. I probably would say that I use Sultry Muse a bit more just because there are some deeper shimmers in here and there are like more like warmer shimmers. I would say that these, in comparison, maybe these would be a little cooler, and they're definitely lighter, but I love combining Viseart shimmer palettes with Viseart matte palettes. So these are 3 that I would definitely suggest if you decide to purchase Viseart palettes. They are on the higher end in terms of price range. I managed to look out for sales and pick things up, but they're still not cheap. Also, I think you don't need the old school like bulky packaging. The newer packaging is the Slim Pro, and with these you can see like the difference. There's like, it's a little smaller, there's a rounded edge rather than this square edge, and with the newer ones, the Slim Pros, you can pop the shades out and move things around. Not so easy to do that with the old school packaging. Another one that has consistently been popular in my cadre of palettes is the Natasha Denona Biba palette. So this is one of her like original, just like neutral nude palettes. I really enjoy it. Very similar to the eyeshadow from Viseart. I just find that I can do some really simple, pretty, no muss, no fuss looks, and there is a combo of mattes and shimmers. Now, this is one of her older palettes. The formula she's using now on her newer palettes is different. I would say these have more, the old ones have more opacity in the shimmers, and like, let me, like, I feel like that just shows up really well right in your face, whereas some of the newer palettes definitely have like less opacity in the shimmers. They kind of feel more like toppers, and I know that just the formula overall has now changed, so I would repurchase this if it was the exact formula that it is right now in this older palette. Since I did a swatch for that one, let me do like a swatch for, this is the Sultry Muse from Viseart. And I find that Viseart shimmers are just, like, to me they're just like soft and pretty. That's how I would describe them. And this is the Paris Nudes. Put that right here. Like, yeah, just very soft and pretty. So I really like them, and I like matching them with the mattes. Now, one palette that I really, really like is the Pat McGrath Divine Rose Mothership Palette. So this is one I've talked about before. I had no idea that I would enjoy just because I thought it was just like, oh, neutral and boring, but it's really pretty. I do like pretty much every shade in here, and I think I did a video doing like several looks with it. And I just find these to be so pretty, and you can definitely change things up depending on which shimmers or special shades you use and where you put them, what you match them with. And pretty much she has, or at least had, because we don't know what's been happening the past 3 years, right? She has sort of like a formula of how things look in her palette, and you can use some shades to highlight things, you can use some shades to put on top of others to give a bit more jazz to it. But this one is one that, again, I often will pull for work, just because I know that I can do something nice and simple and pretty, and that's gonna look good but not distract everyone when I'm talking to them. And then the last one that I'm going to talk about is, of course, the Danessa Myricks Groundwork Defining Neutrals. This is a palette I use weekly. Sometimes I use it daily, and I have to remind myself, like, there are other palettes that you can use. Now, I would certainly repurchase this, and I already have a backup. I would not say that this palette is for everyone, though. I think there is a learning curve with the putty. Like, you really have to learn how to work with it, and I think a lot of times we just want something straightforward. We don't want to have to figure it out. Like, just give me a palette that I can throw on my eyes. But I love this palette. Also, it's not an eyeshadow palette. It's like a face palette, because you can use these on your eyes, on your cheeks, on your lips. You can use them for brows. There's just so much you can do with the palette. And I also really like that the pans are removable, so then you can switch things around. You can mix and match with her other groundwork, the one, like, she has two right now, the Defining Neutrals and then the Blooming Romance. I like that you can do that. I know with her new palette that has come out that I purchased this morning, it is also magnetic, and you can take things out, and I believe you can throw in some of the Groundwork palette, some of the shades from the other palette. Like, I'm really excited to just mix and match things. But this is a palette that I think when it came out, super innovative, and still is, and it's one that I regularly use, like, all the time. I really, really enjoy it. So I think those are a couple of the neutral palettes that I reach for the most. Let me know some of yours, and I can keep doing this if you want to know more palettes that I reach for the most. Just let me know, and I will try to get that done. I would repurchase all of these, though I would get the Petite mattes from Viseart, or the Slim Pro ones, and I would only repurchase the Natasha Denona one if it were the same formula. So hopefully some of this was helpful, and I also hope that you are continuing to take care of yourself. I would love it if you liked the video, and I would love it even more if you subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.